One of the main aims of the NECA project was to show how, by embedding sustainability through leadership commitment, schools can enrich the curriculum and enhance learning and teaching. They now followed examples of this as filmed by the schools themselves, with a description of their experiences.
Welcome to Benton Primary School! Our uniform swap shop started in 2022. It is located in a green container outside our school.
We chose a uniform swap shop because it helps families save money.
Families can come for uniform coats and shoes.
And stops good clothes from being wasted. It is a simple and effective way to look after our planet and support our school in being climate friendly. The uniform swap shop is run by the FOBS team, Friends of Benton Dean Schools.
You can bring in clothes you no longer need.
Children and families also support the shop.
It stops clothes being wasted. It is a great way to look after the planet.
Teachers promote the swap shop and encourage families to take part. Families in our school benefited by being able to choose uniform coats and shoes that fit their children. The environment also benefited because clothes were reused instead of being thrown away. We set up a uniform swap shop in a green container outside the school. Families could bring in their clothes they no longer needed.
It helps families save money.
The swap shop means children always have a uniform that fits.
Lots of people in our school have used the swap shop already. The shop is open before and after school. It is easy and simple to use.
Families could bring in their clothes they no longer needed and choose items they wanted. The shop has been open for lots of people in the school to use since autumn 2022. Pupils learned how small actions can help protect the planet.
We are proud that our school is climate friendly. We hope that more people will use the swap shop in the future.
The project supported learning about caring for the environment and making climate friendly choices. It also helped pupils understand how working together can help others in the community.
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? It is practical and hands-on for the children. It has a clearly tangible output, compost, for the children to see and use. It was able to develop into a further project about reducing food waste generally across school. Who did the work? Children, mostly Year 4. Science lead, Year 1 teacher, and head teacher. Who benefited? Children. Better growing conditions for their ultimate sense of responsibility and beginning to gain a greater understanding of how microbes and other decomposers work. School got free compost. School community get to feel better about ourselves and feel like we're making a positive impact. What were the main activities? What did you decide to do? Reuse kitchen containers to make compost buckets. Created schedules for volunteers to do the collecting at lunch times. Created a compost corner with named composters. What were the learning outcomes/curriculum links? On top of what is detailed above, the project links successfully with our Social Ambassador project, as well as science topics across KS1 and KS2.
We are Broomhoff First School. Today I want to tell you about some buzzing things at our school. We are working on a bee project. Our school has our own beehive and we've been learning so much that we're now called bee experts. All the children help look after the bee. Learn that bees are very important as they pollinate flower to flower. That's called pollination. Use lots of fruit and vegetables wouldn't grow. Can you imagine having no apples, strawberries or tomatoes? When we make our own honey at school, it doesn't have to be driven in trucks or flown from faraway places. That means less fuel, less packaging and less waste, which is better for the planet.
It's a nice flat piece of wax that we're giving them, but the bees will turn that into our amazing hexagonal cells. And they do that with the wax glands on their abdomen. So they've got a wax gland on the abdomen where the wax comes out. They gather it up with their legs and they pass it to another bee who works it with their mouth, and they build it all up into these amazing hexagonal combs.
We love the honey from our bees. It was so sweet. And it's really, really, really tasty.
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? After gaining the Climate Friendly Schools Award in June 2025, Beth invited us to engage with the leadership project. This was based on the success of our work to develop an area of land in school now known as the Peace Garden, alongside our successful adoption of a bee colony. As a Church of England school, our ethos is centered around looking after the natural world around us. Our school vision, inspired by Jesus, we make a difference in God's world by being the best we can be, really encapsulates this and lends itself beautifully to using the image of a bee to promote. Adopting a bee colony in our newly transformed area was the very best next step in our development that we could hope for. Who did the work? Mrs. Gain, one of our class teachers, is a fully trained beekeeper. We call her our very own Queen Bee. Mrs. Gain initially engaged the children through an interactive enrichment day, fondly known as Bee Fest. We can't wait to repeat in future years. During the day, Mrs. Gain held workshops to teach the children all about bees and their amazing place in our world. The children carried out a range of activities, including making lip balms, creating artwork to support our learning about the fragility of bees, and some children donned the beekeeping suits to get hands-on in their hive. Mrs. Gain was fully supported by the SLT, the school's Eco Council, and the governing body of the school. Who benefited? The whole school community has benefited from the enrichment activities and subsequent time spent nurturing the bees in the hive, which is situated in the Peace Garden. At present, we have harvested a small amount of honey, which we sold to our parents. We're hopeful this cycle will continue as we expand our colony. Our future aim is to provide honey for the community of Riding Mill, as well as other fruit and vegetables, once the next step of our community garden takes shape in 2026 to 2027. What were the learning outcomes / curriculum links? Our project has covered so many learning outcomes in terms of the academic curriculum, as well as supporting the high priority across school that we give to personal development, EYFS, understanding the world, personal and social development, communication and language were the main curriculum drivers. Children learned a whole host of facts about bees, including labeling the different parts, the life cycle of a bee, relationships / politics within and across bee colonies, etc. The list is exhaustive. National curriculum, science, art, PSHE, English. As with EYFS, the list is endless. Learning opportunities and outcomes included art skills, observational art, sketching, mixed media, colour mixing, and printing, to name a few. Science, habitats, ecosystem, life cycles, food chains, etc. PSHE, environmental issues, climate awareness, debate / argument, community engagement, courageous advocacy, teamwork, standing up for others, English, persuasive writing, non-fiction reports. I will have missed so much. In terms of the personal development, Lidi engaging with the leadership project has given our children the opportunity to put their future at the forefront of all of our minds, looking at issues around climate change and becoming courageous advocates to identify the small changes that could have a big impact are given a high priority in our school. We look to give our children a voice at any opportunity. This project allowed us to do that once more.
Hi, we're Cockfield Eco Team. We're going to carry out an energy survey. We're going to go around all the classes and see if there's any energy wasted. How are you supposed to go with the doors when open? Well, there's some boards on tick. The computer's on. The lights on.
What's the situation with the windows?
The windows are open.
All of them?
They're closed. Some of them are closed. They're totally, all of them are closed.
So get that, the windows are closed, but everything else is on. Shall we go on to the next room?
Well, the lights are definitely on. The board's on. The lights are on. The board's on. The computer's on. The computer's on. The windows are closed. Well done, teachers. The lights are on. Crazy. The board was off. The computer was on. And the lights were on.
The children chose the project because they identified this as an area of waste. The Eco team and Mrs. Wright did the work. The school budget benefited from the project, so therefore the children, and the environment. Our main activities were the audit walk of the school to identify electricity wastage and then feed back to classes. Our learning outcomes was our responsibility to look after our environment, fossil fuels, making choices.
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? We chose the sustainability project linked to the WOW Walk to School Challenge because it directly promotes environmentally friendly habits in a simple but impactful way. The challenge encourages students to walk, cycle or scoot to school instead of travelling by car, which helps reduce carbon emissions, traffic congestion and air pollution around the school area. We also wanted to be involved in something practical that makes a real difference in everyday life. The WOW Walk to School Challenge is not just about one day of action. It helps build long-term sustainable travel habits. By taking part, we have been able to contribute to lowering our school's environmental footprint while also promoting healthier lifestyles within the community. Who did the work? The Sustainability Lead in School organised the sign-up and WOW ambassadors have helped to implement the programme. Who benefited? Students benefited by improving their physical health and fitness through regular walking or cycling. It also helped improve their mental well-being, concentration in class, and independence. Parents and families benefited from reduced fuel costs and less time spent in traffic during busy school drop-off periods. The school community benefited from less congestion and safer roads around the school gates, creating a calmer and safer environment. the wider community and environment benefited from reduced carbon emissions, improved air quality, and lower noise pollution. Overall, the initiative had positive impacts on individuals, the school, and the environment, making it beneficial on multiple levels. What were the main activities? What did you decide to do? That walking, cycling, or scooting to school instead of travelling by car? This was the core activity and helped reduce carbon emissions. Tracking journeys using the WOW Travel Tracker or similar system, where students recorded how they travelled to school each day. Earning rewards and badges to encourage consistent participation and motivate students to build long-term sustainable travel habits. Promoting road safety awareness, including reminders about safe crossing, wearing helmets when cycling and being visible. Raising awareness about environmental impact, helping students understand how active travel reduces air pollution and benefits the planet. What were the learning outcomes/curriculum links? Learning outcomes. Students understood how transport choices impact the environment, particularly in relation to carbon emissions and air pollution. They developed awareness of sustainable travel and how small daily actions can contribute to climate action. Students improved their understanding of personal responsibility and active citizenship. They gained knowledge about road safety and safe travel behaviours. Many students developed healthier lifestyle habits and understood the link between physical activity and well-being. Curriculum links, geography, learning about environmental sustainability, climate change, and human impact on the environment. Science, understanding air pollution and energy use. PSHE, promoting well-being, personal responsibility, and making positive lifestyle choices. Physical education, encouraging regular physical activity and healthy habits. Citizenship, exploring how individuals and communities can take action to create positive environmental change.
So Just Let Your Soul Grow is a community garden that is completely off-grid. So everything on here, there's no electricity and there's no technically running water other than like our water tanks. And as well as that, everyone who comes and say our baby socials, when we have snack time, all of our food that can be recycled and wasted is put in the compost bin.
All of the crafts that you can see are designed by children and young people who spend time in the garden. We do a community composting scheme, so these are actually a donation from a local business.
JLYSG are keen to showcase the roles that community gardens play in providing alternative and informal learning spaces. The work was carried out by staff, volunteers, parent helpers, and a newly qualified teacher who is working with us to gain outdoor learning experience. Volunteers, preschool-aged children, their parents all benefited from being able to take part in safe and inclusive intergenerational outdoor activities. Liv, a young woman who recently moved back into the area after studying primary education at Leeds University, also benefited from this as it gave her valuable experience in planning activities and teaching outdoors. The main aim is free and expressive child-led play that is gently guided by the adults so that the children are exposed to concepts such as habitat making and water conservation from a young age. We do not link to curriculum learning. Our baby social sessions act as a magical bridge between early childhood and the natural world, fostering lifelong nature connections from the ground up, literally. When we put children in spaces where they can lead their own exploration, whether feeling the soil, watching the worms or smelling herbs, the garden transforms from a mere outdoor space into a known and nurturing magical kingdom. Yes, it's playtime, and no, it may not be obvious to the babes who spend time here. But early exposure builds a sense of belonging, where the garden becomes a trusted, safe haven that children view as their own. When we cultivate meaningful connections with children, we ensure that as they grow, they will return to the garden feeling at home, finding peace and joy in their surroundings.
Welcome to Keep Yeah, we are the Eco Elite.
We are all here as part of the Eco Club to reduce our carbon footprint. As we know worldwide, we all have a part to play in slowing down the rate of global warming. Part of our responsibilities in school include working on our Eco Action Plan, which includes encouraging walking or biking to school, taking action to reduce single-use plastics, addressing and reusing waste and reducing the amount of meat we use in meals, planting trees on site, reusing, recycling and repurposing, including school uniform, coats and shoes. We have also installed 4 electric charging points in the school car park for electric cars. The school has also provided us with solar panels and a wind turbine to produce sustainable energy for the entire school. We have included eco and sustainability in our school curriculum to educate students on why green energy is important. And finally, we have an eco club that leads learners by an example.
Could you explain how you're personally reducing your own carbon footprint?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways that I'm trying to personally reduce my carbon footprint. The first is my job means that I do a lot of driving between the different schools in our trust. So it's just being consciously aware of that and trying to align my diary so that I cut some of those miles out. And the second way is for the last year or so I've completely cut meat out my diet. So I wouldn't consider myself a vegetarian, but certainly don't eat meat, and even gone as far as cutting milk out of my diet and having plant-based substitutes instead.
What would be your plan for reducing CO2 emissions in our school?
So my role means that I get to work with a lot of sustainability leads in all our schools, and Miss Reid at your school is one of those. So I work quite closely with Miss Reid. We review things like the climate action plan and how construction can help reduce CO2 going forward. But to be honest, guys, what you do here is really positive and proactive. And my challenge and my role is trying to instill some of that productivity and positivity in the other schools in our trust.
And in one sentence, could you give advice to other schools starting their eco journey?
Perfection is impossible, so pick the easiest, quickest win that you can and start today.
Personally reducing your own carbon footprint?
I think small steps is probably the way to do it. In our house at home, we have been more religious about recycling, washing that stuff properly so it can be recycled properly, trying to reduce our single-use plastics, making sure that when we go to the supermarket we're picking up the items that don't have single-use plastics if we can. It's not always possible, but my message to my kids is small steps, do your bit.
What is your plan to reduce our CO2 emissions at school?
We try and consider sustainability in the school at every point. We're lucky we've got a new and a modern building, but it doesn't mean that we can't do things like making sure our computers are switched off and our lights are switched off when we're not in that space and using that device. We try and consider ways in which we can produce energy more efficiently in the school, using providers for our electricity that are seeking and sourcing renewable sources of energy rather than just burning fossil fuels willy-nilly. And again, it's similar to what I have as a message from my family. It's small steps, little things that we can do to support changes both for us as individuals but as a school community as a whole.
And in one sentence, could you give advice to other schools starting their eco journey?
Oh, in one sentence, I'd probably say start, and start now. Start with small steps and start with determination.
How can you reduce your own personal carbon footprint?
Me personally, I bought a car within the last year, so emissions are a big factor in purchasing that. I recycle everything I possibly can, and white goods, fridge freezers, etc. I look at the efficiency of them when I'm purchasing them. Other than that, pretty much what everybody should be doing.
What changes are you making in our school to reduce CO2 emissions?
The what, sorry?
What changes are you making in our school to reduce CO2 emissions?
In our school, I work closely with the Eco Sustainability Lead, Miss Reid. I've received funding for £40-something thousand to plant a lot of trees around the school. Obtained funding to partly install electrical vehicle chargers at the school. There's 4 of them now in every August. And we recycle as much as we possibly can. We repurpose wood, we recycle cardboard, paper, metals, and we now have introduced since April food waste recycling.
In one sentence, what advice would you give to other schools starting their eco-journey?
Other schools, I would speak to the people who I would say are on the ground, such as that, your site team, your cleaning team, and your kitchen staff. They're the ones who will be dealing with it. They're the ones who know what's going on.
Can you explain how you're reducing your own personal carbon footprint?
Yeah, well, we are currently, driven in energy, we turn things off when we're not using them, whether it's gas or electric, to reduce our carbon footprint on those things, so we don't have things running unnecessarily. And that's been something that we've targeted in the last 2 years. We look constantly at getting more local suppliers, which reduces the carbon footprint because we don't have the transport, unnecessary transport that you have with national suppliers. So that's a key target we have. We also look at reducing our meat content, particularly our red meat content. So if you notice on our menus, we have a lot of white meat. We also introduce, with Help for Yourselves, we just introduced more vegetarian and vegan options, which again hits our carbon targets. So they're the sort of 3 main areas in the kitchen that we look at. We've also got other areas as well, which is we introduced the eco sandwiches to reduce the plastic. They're going very well, so we've got no plastic in the sandwiches, those particular sandwiches at the moment. So yeah, we look at it and kind of look at a whole kind of kitchen way, if you like.
Have you influenced change in our school to lower CO2 emissions?
Yeah, I think we have. I think we've introduced things over, not just over the years, but over the last few months, and in conversations with people like you guys, where you come up with some great ideas. You know, the sandwiches has come from yourselves. The water in the, I think they're called the Framptons cardboard water things. They're not carbon, they're not plastic free, but they're a lot more carbon friendly. Eco-friendly, should I say, than the other ones. So we're constantly we just sort of chip away slowly at introducing things that help the overall carbon footprint reduction of it within the school.
In one sentence, what advice would you give to other schools starting their eco journey?
It's hard to come up with one sentence. Well, I'd say start small, have achievable sustainable targets, and make sustainability a habit within the school, I think just keep it enthusiastic within the school.
Could you please explain how you're aiming to reduce your own personal carbon footprint?
Yeah, so I cycle to work and back from work most days, so that's it's 18 miles to school and 18 miles back again. And on the days I don't cycle, I get a lift off somebody, so I don't actually own a car, so I guess that reduces it quite a lot.
In school, what are your plans to reduce our carbon footprint?
So in the summer term, I am working with a group of Year 7 learners to encourage them to use their bikes to cycle to school, and then also specifically with a group of young ladies to try and encourage more young ladies to cycle to school as well, and that'll be in the summer term.
And in one sentence, could you describe to other schools starting their eco journey?
Yeah, I think the big thing was that in primary schools, I think a lot of children do cycle to school. So I think if I was them now looking at a secondary school, I would try and encourage more of the primary school children to keep up with what they were doing and cycle to school in secondary school like they were doing when they were in primary school.
Could you explain how you're aiming to reduce your own personal carbon footprint?
So my life at home, within the house, I have got LED lights for every light bulb in the house. I have personally gone on a journey to try to become a vegan. So far I'm at the vegetarian part where I have no meat within my diet, and then I'm moving towards taking dairy out of my diet as well. Constantly recycle, always at a charity shop, buying my clothes. This was from a charity shop. So for me it's always about recycling and repurposing, and that's me in my personal life.
In our school, what are your plans to reduce our carbon emissions?
Well, I want to thank everybody in this room today. So we'll just scan round and thank everybody. Not the entire Eco Club isn't here today, but we have all gone on an eco journey, and because we've all been on this eco journey, writing an action plan, having energy audits, having pretty much an audit around anything that is going to cause a heightened carbon footprint, we are probably, I feel like saying possibly, the most carbon effective school in the authority. So thank you everybody for that journey, and we continue on that journey with our action plan.
And in one sentence, what advice would you give to schools starting their eco journey?
Make the changes you need to make today. Today is important because it forms tomorrow.
How long does that take you, sir?
About an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. It's mainly on the road, so it's a bit. It takes a bit longer on the way back home because the traffic's a bit more lively. It's sort of like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock at night. But I generally leave the house about 5:15 in the morning to get in for like 6:30 in school. So the roads in the morning are quite quiet. This time of year in the winter is just a bit sort of cold and chilly, so
that's awesome.
it's not quite as much fun.
Yeah, some good going, isn't it? What,
yeah.
about 15, 16 mile an hour?
Yeah, on average. There's a couple of big hills when you're coming down over the Tyne Bridge and up on the Gateshead, but it's quite picturesque. It's quite a nice way to relax at the end of the day when you finish work, and it's just the motivation to get up on the cold, dark mornings and do it in the morning, 5:15 in the morning. But it's probably worth it in the long run.
Strange, reducing waste and energy. Oh, it feels so right. Let's make it a mission from morning till night. Imagine all the colors of a world that's alive. Let's scream for the planet and help it
We've been actively encouraging our children to travel to school sustainably. One method which we have been doing is to look at our local area and the travel issues that we have. This has led to us becoming involved in the Mode Shift Stars programme. We've achieved our Bronze Award recently. It was also mean we are now part of a safe school area. So our cars are not able to come so close to school, meaning children do need to look at a more sustainable way to get into the school grounds. We have also been actively asking our children to become involved in this programme, with them thinking of ways in which they can travel to school sustainably and things they would like in our school to help them with this. This has led to the installation of new bike and scooter storage, so lots of children are now happy to bring their bikes and scooters, and with us being by the coast and the beautiful scenery, it's a great way for them to travel to school. There's also been staff involvement in this, which has been pivotal, because lots of staff have also said they would like to travel to school more sustainably, and with the more recent introduction of the new train stations, staff have found that that is a good way that they can also come to school in a more sustainable way.
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? We were moving to a new school, and there was a lot to consider in the students travelling to school, and how this was managed, supported, and how we promoted sustainability with the children and in school. Who did the work? Staff and students. Who benefited? We all did, as well as the wider community, as there is less traffic coming to our school. What were the main activities? What did you decide to do? We created more bike and scooter stands, mapped out safe walking routes to school, and sent out messages to parents, students, and the local community. What were the learning outcomes/curriculum links? We all need to work together to ensure that we travel safely and sustainably to school.
Hello, this is the SIBA and Dean Eco team. We noticed that quite a lot of food had been wasted at lunchtime. Every bit of food waste has an environmental impact. This is because everything uses energy to produce. Did you know that the UK produces 9.5 million tonnes of food waste annually?
So we decided to do our bit by trying hard to reduce our own waste. As food that has been wasted could have been given to someone who needs it. Over the last couple of weeks we have been recording the food waste and making comparisons between classes.
Initially, we are taking a whole school approach before focusing on individual classes. A big prize will be awarded to the class who becomes next year's food waste champions.
It is our intention to make this part of our daily school life and try and get rid of the most waste. New year we are planning to plant even more produce in our raised beds.
And we plan using this new skill.
Firstly, we chose the project because it seemed to be a natural next step as part of our Eco Schools journey. Initially, I did the groundwork and was supported by the Seaburn Dean Friends Group to finance the resources to help me deliver what you saw in the video during the autumn term. I have a team, 10 committed children, who have displayed boundless enthusiasm to make our plan work, and many other children are now asking to get involved. It is our long-term vision to make the food waste project a part of what we do at Seaburn Dean. In the summer term, I plan to take what we have learned from our project and working with Naomi and Merrill to develop a long-term sustainable approach to food in school. This fits in nicely with many areas of the curriculum, such as where does our food come from, in geography, and why should we look after the environment in citizenship. However, as the green curriculum continues to expand and become ever more important, we believe that educating children on these issues is vital.
Here at Southbridge, we wanted to reduce our environmental footprint by sending less waste to landfill.
We thought that this would mean less of this and more of this.
So we have to work out what we can make into compost, fruit snacks, leftover salad, peelings, and don't forget the eggshells.
But too much fruit and veg made Colin and Christy poorly and very smelly. So we needed to change their diet to give them more brown food. We started feeding them egg cartons and our special medicine. The medicine is sawdust from tree roots when we dug out our nature forest.
Every day we collect leftovers, fruit or vegetables from every class. And don't forget the teachers' tea bags too. We need lots of volunteers.
But that's okay because we're all outdoor eco-warrior volunteers.
But some things were too big, or we got too many of them. They would take too long to rot down. So we had to speak to our kitchen and find out where the other food waste goes.
It turns out that it gets collected and taken away to make biofuel. So we decided to collect any food that couldn't go in the compost and send it to make biofuel. We can even put other food which isn't suitable for the composters in here too.
Now we don't put any food in the normal bin. It all goes to make our lovely compost for the allotment beds and to make biofuel, meaning less fossil fuels.
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? It is practical and hands-on for the children. It has a clearly tangible output, compost, for the children to see and use. It was able to develop into a further project about reducing food waste generally across school. Who did the work? Children, mostly Year 4. Science lead, Year 1 teacher, and head teacher. Who benefited? Children. Better growing conditions for their ultimate sense of responsibility and beginning to gain a greater understanding of how microbes and other decomposers work. School got free compost, school community, get to feel better about ourselves and feel like we're making a positive impact. What were the main activities? What did you decide to do? Reuse kitchen containers to make compost buckets, created schedules for volunteers to do the collecting at lunch times, created a compost corner with named composters. What were the learning outcomes / curriculum links? On top of what is detailed above, the project links successfully with our Social Ambassador project, as well as science topics across KS1 and KS2.
We wanted to do something across both schools. To show how partnerships work, we wanted to do something that mitigated climate change long term, rather than being a short-term action. We asked pupils to help identify areas in school we can improve and suggested ideas for them to choose from. Children in our current Year 3 class have been fascinated by the apple trees on our lunchtime nature walks. A range of pupils from different year groups at Mickley First School, where we grew the trees. Our caretaker has a small tree nursery grown from saplings, and Year 4s at Ovingham, where we planted them. The whole school at Ovingham were involved in worship, where we collected fruit, grown over the year, and we see this being shared in school in the video. A range of pupils from different year groups at Mickley First School, where we grew the trees. Our caretaker has a small tree nursery grown from saplings, and Year 4s at Ovingham, where we planted them. The whole school at Ovingham were involved in worship, where we collected fruit, grown over the year, and we see this being shared in school in the video. Our caretaker works for both schools, lives on site at Mickley, and has collected a variety of saplings to grow in a nursery, partly because rabbits are an issue at Ovingham and small trees don't easily survive. Children identified sites at Ovingham. Mickley children dug up the trees at Mickley. Ovingham planted them, and then in both schools we planted bulbs around school. Mickley is more hard surface, so we used pots, and we used more Christmas trees at Mickley, so we have Christmas trees in the future. The collection of fruit started back in the spring, where children were fascinated by the flowers on the apple trees, watched them become fruit over the year. We held a worship outside in September and collected fruit from the trees, which you see in class in the video. Our panting of bulbs links to the Miners' Lamp / West Tyne Food Bank charity in Prudhoe, and our links to church. This covers courageous advocacy, where we are going beyond the everyday and making a commitment to improving our environment for all, the impact of climate change, especially weather extremes, and how the landscape and plants can contribute to reducing rainwater runoff and helping with the air quality. Year 4 pupils have learnt about the rainforest in the Amazon and linked this to extreme weather. Children at Ovingham linked planting to courageous advocacy, choosing to make a difference and committing to ongoing planting around both schools. Children at Ovingham regularly carry out litter picks on site, and they have been fascinated by apples and pears on our trees. We have held regular informal walks at Ovingham. Year 2. Now 3 were most interested, and they saw the flowers develop into fruit, and in the autumn we held collective worship outside and picked apples off trees, which you see in the film. This is an ongoing piece of work for us to link the seasons and our environment, including plants, into curriculum and worship, and having an ongoing commitment to our work.
Hi, I'm Dawn. Hi, I'm Esme. Hello, I'm Amelia. And I'm Nancy. And we are the Mini Eco Police. In our school, we have been monitoring the energy usage. And as you can see, since we've been spying on each class at lunchtime and at the end of the day, we have been secretly recording which class has been the most eco-friendly and turning off the interactive whiteboards. Closing the windows to stop heat escaping the building. And teachers turning off their monitors when they're not using their computers. Making sure the taps are turned off properly. We have been recording our results in a table and presenting our findings in our weekly praise assembly. Class who was the most eco-friendly during the week received this beautiful trophy. Teachers and pupils are becoming very competitive and trying to win the award each week. And everyone's involved. Our teachers and teaching assistants are making sure their staff room is eco-friendly by turning off the toaster and making sure the dishwasher is full before turning it on. And our caretaker closes all of the hall and corridor windows. Together we can make a difference to climate change. Here at Byers Green Primary School, we are doing our bit. Are you doing yours?
Why did you choose the sustainability project that you submitted evidence for? We were moving to a new school, and there was a lot to consider in the students travelling to school, and how this was managed, supported, and how we promoted sustainability with the children and in school. Who did the work? Staff and students. Who benefited? We all did, as well as the wider community, as there is less traffic coming to our school. What were the main activities? What did you decide to do? We created more bike and scooter stands, mapped out safe walking routes to school, and sent out messages to parents, students and the local community. What were the learning outcomes/curriculum links? We all need to work together to ensure that we travel safely and sustainably to school.
Plant a tree and keep our rivers clean. Every little step helps the world to gleam. Hey there, friend, with your shiny new toy, let's make sure it's something we can all enjoy before we throw it out. Let's try to repair with a little bit of love. We can show we care. From the